Fingers and Pies podcast, brought to you by Meron Freight UK.
Welcome to episode 16 of the Fingers and Pies podcast. How are we doing, Tommy?
Oh, good. Thank you very much. Been a while.
It has been a little while. Busy, haven't we? We've been
Exactly.
busy. Episode 16, Fingers and Pies, and we have a guest. Of course, we're joined by Tommy, Mr. Meron Freight UK, and myself, Zach. But we have Seb Hopkins here.
Hello.
As
Hello,
our
great to be here.
esteemed guest. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very good.
All good?
All okay.
Yeah, good. We're going to be sweltering. I think it's quite warm.
It's going to be a warm one.
It's going to be a warm. But we've got some refreshments and we've got pies on the go. Seb?
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a sarcastic.
it's
I
good.
love pies. Because it's the Fingers in Pies podcast.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's referring to people having a lot on the saying Fingers in Pies.
Yeah.
Please say you know the saying.
I do.
Good. Okay, but also we have pies.
Yeah.
I'm going to push you straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Do you like a pie?
I love a pork pie.
You love what pie?
I absolutely love a pork pie.
See, most people go, I don't like pies.
What is the other one?
That's an apple pie.
Yeah. So
You're more
anything
savoury.
like what's the one you get at Christmas? That mince pie.
Yes,
Mince pie?
that's a mince
Yeah.
pie.
Like all of that stuff. Really not a fan. But then a pork pie. Love it. Yeah.
So
savoury.
savoury
Nice.
pies.
Yeah, savoury pie, like a steak pie. all
Like a
that.
chicken pie.
I had one literally the other day.
So you like a savoury pie
Yeah.
over a sweet pie?
I think so. Yeah. I think so.
What did we have the other time? It was ham hock and pickle or something.
Yeah, some people.
I like that. That was
Yeah.
good.
For me that's a
Yeah, pie.
that's a
That's a
pie.
proper
That's a
pie.
pie.
Yeah.
Only it's apple and
No.
cherry and.
No, none of that. No. I think the only time, I mean, it might not be classed as a pie then, but like a
You're gonna say.
See,
I know
I
what
know
you're
what
gonna
you're
say.
I'm waiting for the word.
Go on.
tart. No.
Oh,
No,
oh,
like
okay.
A caramel,
I wasn't ready for
like
tart.
A tree, like a tree.
Fair
What
enough.
were you gonna say?
Crumble.
Yeah, crumble. Like not. It's okay.
Oh, good.
It's okay.
I like this.
I think fruit in puddings just obviously just.
You don't love.
I think it's just like anything like. Yeah, I'm much more of like a treacle pie or something.
A treacle
Yeah, is that even a
tart.
Treacle tart.
Yeah, treacle tart,
Yeah, I
like
know what you
a-
mean. I
Oh,
do like a
sounds
treacle
sweet.
tart.
Or like a sponge, you know.
I think a
Before going out in a race car would be decent. Treacle tart is a sugar rush.
treacle
Exactly.
tart.
That'd be
Yeah.
a sugar rush.
Sponge,
Didn't
anything like
expect
that.
you to just come out with tart there, Seb. I'll be
There you go
honest.
then.
Took 2 minutes.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, tart, crumble. You prefer a tart than you do?
Tart over a crumble.
Sorry, we're going down a very weird route. Right, okay, let's start as we need to go on. We're in the middle of summer, and we've actually had a summer this year.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, it's still going to be hot, I think, for another 2 weeks at least.
I feel like my bedroom's a bit of a layout like this, but instead of cameras, thankfully, it's fans.
Is it just
I've just got fans in all corners.
Yeah,
It's just too hot.
Yeah, I don't have a fan. Do you have a fan in your bedroom?
No, I'm roasting every night.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you one of these like leg out the covers?
I
Or-
have to. I think a cover is always good. Like even when it's like 40 degrees, I still have to have a duvet. You know, over a
I
sheet.
don't know.
But then I might be on top of it. But
On
yeah.
top of the duvet.
Maybe.
Oh, that's uncomfortable and sticky. Seb.
Really?
We've already clashed
when
on-
you're on top of it.
I'll just use like a
On
spare
top
bed
sheet.
sheet.
Yeah.
I have something, but just a bed sheet.
I just think, just let it all hang out.
That's what I mean. I'm saying if you're on top of the bed sheet, you know.
Yeah.
Also, you got to be careful with. Obviously, we're dads,
Yeah.
aren't we? You got to be careful.
No, I'm not there.
You got to have.
so-
You got to have pants on. Is what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Because bless them, kids wandering. Whoa! Like you don't want any of that.
No.
Yeah, that's
you don't want any of that. Yeah, you got to make sure. Always go to bed with your pants
Yeah.
on. Kids.
That's always good.
30
Always
30
good.
degree heat. Not kids, dads. Why am I addressing kids? Anyway, let's move on. Seb,
I feel like I'm just like I don't know.
you can already see what stuff's going to get cut.
It's just raw.
Kids, keep your pants on.
We won't title that episode. That's not fair on you, Seb.
Kids, keep your pants on. Right, anyway, let's talk a little bit about you. Obviously, Porsche Carrera Cup GB is where your home is this season. Tell us a little bit about where you're at right now. Is it summer break for you? Have you got bits coming up?
Big summer break. So we've had 3 rounds and we've got 5 to go. But yeah, because we missed out Alton Park, which was 2 weeks ago, we've had like an 8-week break.
Wow.
So we've literally I've luckily been away, which has kind of split it up a bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, now from kind of when I got back to Croft, it's about 3.5 weeks. So it's just training, sim, bit of work. So yeah, like busy, which is good. But just want to get back to it now because it's been so long. I don't think I've had a break like this in a long time.
Yeah.
So
what I'm always intrigued in these breaks because, like, mid-season breaks is a bit of a. I'm a football fan.
yeah.
So you don't get a mid-season break really. I think there's maybe a Christmas. They put a little bit of a winter break, but that's 3-4 days, isn't it, or something stupid. So, I mean, like, is it a bit frustrating? Is momentum lost? Is it nice to have a refresh?
I'd say so. I think it's a good time to, just from where it's so long, it's good to kind of keep at it because you've got that long of a break, it's very easy to then fall out of it. So it's actually a good time to actually be as motivated as ever because it's actually a long time to then get back training and whatever and things.
Get back a little routine as well.
Get back in a routine. But no, it's really frustrating because especially if either ways, if you're having a good year, you want to keep going because you want to keep momentum up, and it's like for me, it's like I want to get back out, prove more and get some better results. So it's frustrating. Now it's annoying. I just want to race again now. But I know, but then August is super busy. August, I think we've got three race weekends in August. So I think I'm travelling, I think I've said this to you, I'm travelling or racing 22 out of the 31 days to go racing, which is pretty, insane if you think about it. It's like a lot of, time at a racetrack and going to them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's good.
Okay, so tell us a bit about your season so far. What's going on?
Finish it with Thruxton.
Yeah.
Finish it with Thruxton, yeah, okay. So yeah, we've had three weekends so far. Donington, Snetterton and then Thruxton. It's been amazing. I've been loving it. I'm obviously a rookie into this year.
Yeah.
We've had some really, really good. I don't really like the kind of excuses where it's like,
give us your driver's excuses.
I'm saying I'm not going to. It's like, at the end of the day, if you're not fast, you're not fast. And so I've had weekends where Donington, I was really fast, but we just had some stuff completely out of our control. But we qualified third on debut, which was really, really amazing. It's been good, and we've been doing well in the rookie championship. And then Snetterton was okay. It's one of those weekends where I just maybe could have been faster, but still it's
close though, isn't it?
In with the pros, yeah.
It's
so
close. Super close.
It's close. I think around Snetterton I was P7 and it's 3/10.
And that's a long track.
So it's insane, and so it's like even though I could have done better, it's like the qualifying wasn't perfect. And you can't overtake. So qualifying literally defines your weekend. So Snetterton wasn't great in the races, but it's like 3/10 over a 2-minute lap. It's insane, really. It's absolutely insane. So that was okay. And then Thruxton, best weekend so far in terms of pace. We had a great first race. I think we were like 4th or 5th, and then a 5th, and then second race on the front row. Started second. Was well up for it.
You can use a driver excuse here. Because we can cut this up. You can tell the world exactly how.
I ended up in a wall. That's what happened.
Yeah. But before that bit.
So essentially, I'm sitting there really, really excited to get going. I'm looking at the lights, and I'm thinking these aren't even on. Let alone why are people revving their engines? And that's saying to you, I'm not silly. I can have eyes. I can see the lights, and I'm looking at these lights. And I'm thinking, the 5-second board comes out, and either I see the lights go on, but then I don't see them go off. Long story short, everyone starts revving their engines, and I'm there like, the lights are looking the same to me. Everyone starts moving, and I'm there still thinking the lights haven't gone off yet. So clearly, from my view, in that moment, I didn't see the lights go off, essentially. So then I went when everyone else went. So when I said to you, I obviously ended up in the wall, part of it was because I had a really bad start. So I was obviously on the front row, clean air ahead of me, and straight away I'm getting swarmed by 2 cars. It's one of those things where the incident, actually me going into the wall, wasn't my fault in terms of the actual contact, but the reason why it kind of happened was because I put myself in that spot I'm looking at these lights and I'm thinking, why is everyone... Are they seeing something that I'm not? And they were. And it's one of those things where this is, I guess, an excuse. So there were complaints over the weekend of, not official kind of complaints, but when I spoke about it to people after, they were like, I started moving when other people went and things, and in other championships and stuff. So it's like, you know, it obviously just wasn't me.
Yeah.
You know, it obviously wasn't black and white, if that makes sense. You know,
Wow.
in terms of the lights. But at the end of the day, it was a cock up by me because everyone else started moving and I didn't.
Yeah.
So so it was a shame, and but unfortunately the incident was unlucky, and ended up in the med centre with you know, because it was quite a big incident.
Was it?
You know,
Yeah.
I probably went in at about, I don't know, you know, 60, 70 kind of. It was you know, and it's done a lot of damage to the car, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was a big hit, which was a shame. But
One of them frustrating ones, isn't
yeah,
it?
Yes.
so which is why this break has been frustrating, because
Mm.
it was in terms of the pace and what it could have been, it was amazing. So I'm kind of just, you know, riding on that, because it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I could have been at the back doing it. You know, at least we're there. At least we're fighting at the front, which is the most important bit. But you know, it's learning, isn't it? I'm never going to do that again, am I? So
No.
so it's like
Well,
just gotta keep going, and you know, keep riding on the confidence of we can be there, and the results will come, really.
yeah.
So
The lights. That's the name. We got the.
So I've heard it a couple of times. I think actually when we were at Thruxton last year in the Mini, someone said about it. I think we had it somewhere. Was it? I'm not going to say Croft because you're there next. There was somewhere else as well, and it's like I couldn't see it.
yeah, I mean, it's one of
Can't
those.
see the lights.
It's one of those things. It's like
You're right at the front as well. You're right
I'm right at
under,
the front,
aren't you?
and so who knows? It's like this could be from my angle. It could have been the worst out of everyone.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't really remember kind of. All I know is that when the lights went out, I obviously didn't move.
Right.
But it's one of those things where I didn't either know if they either went out or I just never saw them come on in the first place. If
Right.
that makes sense, because it could have been that, you know, I never saw them come on in the first place, and because they weren't bright, I thought that when they were on, they were still technically off. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So who knows? At the end of the day, I messed up. So you know,
well.
I messed up, but yeah, gotta move on, really.
Got to move on. Absolutely, you got to move on. So yeah, we'll make sure you can. All right, give you a thumbs up.
I
on
will
the pit
be.
wall.
I'll
Can you see
put
the
it this way,
lights?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
For Croft.
lights.
We see someone hanging over the pit wall, go, you know,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
just gotta, I'm just double safe.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm gonna be like laser beams to the
Yeah.
to the lights.
To the
at
lights,
Croft.
making sure it doesn't happen again.
Croft
Right.
as well. Oh,
Yeah.
that's going to be a tasty next one.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, we've done a test day there already pre-season, and in the cup car, it's, you know, it's
bet.
insane because it's so bumpy. You know, it's uncomfortable. You know, Thruxton's the worst, and honestly, in a Carrera Cup car, Thruxton is good for one lap, and then as soon as the tyres go, it's just an understeer. You know,
Really?
yeah, it's like.
They die off them that quick them tyres? Wow.
Yeah. I'd say from the start of the race to the end of the race, you know, or compared to a qualifying lap to the end, you know, you're going to be, you know, 2.5 seconds off of what you would have done in quali
Wow.
by the end of a race, maybe even more, because there's just so much dead. You think how much stress they're under,
Yeah.
and from where it's so bumpy, and so it's the tyre wear isn't bad at Croft, but the bumps are just insane. It's just so uncomfortable. But yeah, they're amazing around Croft.
Especially at the
They're
bottom
amazing.
after the chicane going down the hill.
the
It's
sunny,
that
the sunny in is the
mid-corner one.
worst. The sunny in is
Oh,
really
sunny
bad.
in, yeah.
Because you hit the apex and you're a massive bump. And I watched the onboard the other day, and it's crazy. It's and how you have to.
It's one of my favourites.
Oh yeah, it's my favourite.
Like,
Yeah, it's my favourite.
as a
yeah.
driving it, like going through out the back, and it's just like flows. I mean, I'm talking from a Mini Cooper, not a
Yeah,
Porsche,
yeah.
but
But it's fun
even
in,
that
it's fun in
is
anything.
such good fun.
It's fun in anything.
It's a mega track.
Yeah, because if you do it in a slower car, it makes the I mean, it sounds silly, but it makes the slower cars more fun.
Yeah.
It's like you've got to kind of carry them.
Yeah.
The slower corners more fun. But yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable in anything, Croft. It's such.
Yeah,
a
I
good,
do like
such
it.
a good
Underrated
circuit.
track, that.
Yeah, really? Croft.
Yeah.
We'll have to look out for that next round then, that bump that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, exactly.
So negotiate it. What have you done before Porsche? Talk me through your racing career,
Yeah.
as it were, so far, and
Yeah.
when did it start, and all that sort of stuff, because it starts for different people at different times.
Yeah, so I'm 19 now. I started go-karts when I was kind of 11, 12. So, you know, I guess late-ish by the kind of, you know, by the books maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, did that for 2 years. Just did Honda Cadets, really. So the kind of entry-level go-kart you do. And then, yeah, when I was 14, I jumped up to Genessa Juniors, which we had great success in. Did that for 2 years. And I was third in my second year, which was really, really good. Very enjoyable championship. Then at 16, I moved up to British GT. So I was always kind of on the younger side because I did Genessa Juniors at 14 and 15. And so then after my 2 years of juniors, I was still 15. And so
Right.
then, because my birthday's December, so then I was just kind of 16, coming into my first year of senior racing, I guess. So and then did British GT for 2 years, so the kind of endurance racing, which was I learned a lot in, which was really
What
enjoyable.
did you race in that?
So I did it when I was 16, I did it in the Cayman, and then the second year I did it in the Aston Martin with our racing, and then did the Sprint Challenge last year, so back to kind of sprint racing, which was really enjoyable. We won the championship last year, which was great, and then doing Carrera Cup this year, which was kind of for me, Carrera Cup has always been the kind of dream to race in, because you kind of either go the kind of endurance racing route or the sprint GT touring car style, and for me, I much prefer the kind of all out.
I was going to say, do you prefer the sort of just go?
I'd say so. I mean, at the moment, I prefer it. I think obviously as a career, if you're looking to go to places like Europe, the endurance racing is the kind of way to go. But I think I did British GT, which was amazing, and it's so cool to be kind of the main event. And the endurance racing is good fun because they know the kind of the strategy plays involved and things. But then once you go back to the touring car weekends where there's the fans and it's like 30 minutes, you get more stabs at it. 2-3 races instead of one. I just prefer it. I do prefer it at the moment. But
yeah, mega weekends as well, like the TOCA weekends, like you say, the fans there, pure just love motorsport. Like
exactly.
You're in front of so many people, and obviously you get the TV as well, and everything. It's huge.
Yeah, and the reason why it's so good is because the chances are, if you were to go, unless you stick on the touring car package, the anything else you do after that, the chances are the crowds aren't going to be as big. So it's it's awesome to be on the touring cars because there's so many people watching. So anywhere else you go to, it's still going to be big crowds, but there's something about, because all the UK circuits are quite tight together, with all the bankings and stuff, it just makes it look packed, doesn't it? Well, it is packed, but it's fun to race against so many people.
It's got such a faithful following, isn't it? That package and all the sport races as well. Carrera Cup GB, I guess, when we had privilege in sort of following Harry King and Harry King's couple of years in that. There was one year where he was up against something Camish and a couple of others, where the Porsche really actually took centre stage for a little bit, because I think the touring cars was done that year. It was quite an out and out winner. So then all of a sudden, Porsche's
because it was a close one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Camish nicked it on the last last round.
I think it was him, Camish, Hannafin, Jewis,
and King was obviously doing his thing from back of the grid, but also driving incredibly aggressively. I still remember Dan Camish doing an interview saying Porsche driving has changed because all of a sudden he's getting bumped and he thought he was in a touring car race.
No, I think so. I think the year he did do it, it was I mean, it was definitely, you saw a lot of things that you'd never seen before in the UK anyway, in the Carrera Cups, and I'd say now I think I mean, I never drove the older cars, but I think now the racing has become not as good again. I think from where they're a bit faster, a bit more aero. I think just averagely it's not as good racing. Like I said, it's I mean, it's always been a qualifying championship there's good racing, but it's just places where you get a bit of aero wash. It just becomes a train,
You really feel that, like, with these new ones.
Thruxton, like I said, to race around Thruxton's, like, terrible, because it's just it's literally, you'll get
once you're in position,
you'll get within close behind someone, and it's like you're driving a completely different car.
Really?
You might be on the start of a race, you'll be on some good fresh qualifying tyres, but even on the second lap, if you're right behind someone, they'll then all of a sudden feel like absolute, horrendous tyres because you just wash. So, but yeah, it's that's why it's such a good championship, because obviously there's a lot of kind of pressure in the qualifying, because something like the touring cars and other championships, where if you have a bad quality, you can kind of hack through and things if you've got the pace. But in this, it's like, if you're the third quickest man but you've qualified 7th, the chances are you're probably going to come 5th, 5th or 4th, because it's just it's aggressive racing. I think even though it's quite a train, once kind of a race does start to form, no one really takes any prisoners, and for me that's what I've kind of learnt this year, in terms of, especially on the kind of lap 1, you need to position your car perfectly, because people do take their chances, and on the first lap, I mean, like anything, but because there's no ABS, like people do push it on the brakes on the first laps, whereas others don't. So it does cause a bit of a mix-up. So
it means that, like you say, then that first lap becomes super important as well, doesn't it? Because of that, the rest of the race as such.
Exactly. And so I think someone like Snetterton for me was where I kind of fell short a bit, because even though my qualifying position was okay and I knew I could have kind of pushed forwards, especially the first race, I can say, I've definitely been a little bit kind of naive to how aggressive it's been, because it's like these cars are super expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, you can, not, of course you can't door ban, but like I said, it's aggressive racing, but, places like Snetterton on the first lap where there's quite a lot of heavy braking zones, you've got to really stick on the back of the bumper of the person ahead of you, because otherwise, people can just take advantage of you, really. And so that's what I've learned, and which I can then take on for the rest of the year, which is good. But
That's what it's all about, right? Like, you come walking out of a weekend going, I've learned 2, 3 , 4 things, and just go, right, okay, add that
exactly,
to the...
Exactly. So it's tricky, because it's risk for reward in a championship like that, because it's expensive and the cars are what they are. It's you need to, at the end of the day, if you're confident as a driver, you have to go for it, because in a championship like that, you want to show off as best you can, but it's risk reward, because incidents do happen, and it's not cheap, obviously. So
So with that in mind, you're 19 now. Gosh, I hate to be 19.
Yeah, I know.
You're 19 now, but I mean, on that package, and you said what route you probably prefer to go down. Things can always change. Touring cars, being on a touring car package, and then having that sort of race, and then watching the touring cars where it is literally door to door, bumper to bumper, lots of contact, lots of action. Does this championship, if you wanted to go down a touring car route, does this championship prepare you for that, or not really? Because you kind of, what you're saying to me there, it's like, well, it depends what route you want to go down. But if you want to go into a touring car, are you going to have to do something in between, or are you just ready to go? Look, if you can handle a Porsche, you go into a touring car and you go. Go for it.
Well, honestly, at the moment, I don't want to be brutal here, but for me, touring cars has never been, as much as I massively admire it. It's something I'd love to do. For me, I am a bit more of the kind of Porsche route instead of the touring cars.
Yeah.
So even though I enjoy the touring cars, watching it, it's never been for me. Like I said, it's always been kind of the Carrera Cup route for me in terms of, because at the end of the day in the UK, they're the kind of the two top ones, because you've got the touring cars, and then you've got the top GT one, which is arguably the Carrera Cup. And so for me, I'd say that's the kind of route, because also you go off to Europe, and then there's Carrera Cup Italy, France,
the opportunity,
Super Cup, and so and then you have the opportunity to go race in Europe. But so as much as I loved watching the touring cars, for me it's not actually as been a big of an ambition as what other championships in Europe. So that's honestly.
I think absolutely. I mean, we've seen. I spoke to Harry King a number of times. I'm like, when we get you on one of these, and we were in front of a touring car, and he was like, oh, maybe when I'm old. I was like, oh, right, okay. He said, other than looking fun, there's the opportunity that Porsche, that championship gives you to then go into Europe, and into Super Cup, and now he's part of the
it's just kind of what you want, and and there's, of course, there's no racing like the touring cars, but then obviously I guess the only kind of limiting factor is you're in the UK every single year, aren't you? Imagine if they did a one-off round in abroad or whatever. But so for me, I think that's the thing of, like, at the moment I'm loving racing in the UK, and especially in the Carrera Cup. And for me, that would be my ambition to do. For me, if I were to do another year of Carrera Cup GB next year, that would be the dream and the goal for me. But then for me, just touring cars, I've never really had that kind of want to, because I know so many people and so many friends who are like, that's what I want to do, that's where I want to be, and I completely understand it. But for me, my heart's never really been there, to be honest with you. So,
but it's just a completely different sort of style of racing. Obviously, different career path as well. So on that? I mean, what is the ultimate aim? Do you want to be travelling around Europe? Driving a Porsche, you want to be travelling around Europe, racing or something. You're 19 now, but you've got a long way ahead of you. I mean, that's the dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, the bog standard answer is you want to be racing for nothing or be getting paid to do it. So it's one of those things where, that can be in really anything, as long as you're, you know, if put it this way, if a touring car, you know, if I could be racing a touring car for, you know, nothing or getting paid to do it, it's like, you know, it's one of those things that's what we're all going for. We're all trying to, you know, earn our money from doing what we love. But then in terms of if I were to want it more specific, like I said, for me, the kind of Porsche, that kind of route is amazing, because, you know, I look at something like Super Cup, which for me would be some other people's touring cars, where it's like that's the pinnacle of, you know, the Porsche one-make racing, and so that's what I would love to do. You know, in years to come, that you know, that championship's just, you know, it's insane. It supports the F1.
Supports the F1,
so something like that. But yeah, I think for me and my family, my dad, we've always kind of taken it year by year.
Right.
But I think you know, yeah, the Porsche route can provide, you know, opportunities, but you have to do well in it. You know, like in anything, you have to show results, and it's unbelievably competitive. And the cars are so hard to drive. You know, they're easy to get round, but then the kind of the last few tenths and the technique, there's no car like the Carrera Cup car in terms of you know, it's one of the last few things without ABS.
Right.
And I think you know, there's rumours of actually that then becoming. The Cup car may have ABS, you know, for next year once the new car comes out. So that will change a lot of things and a lot of opinions of, you know, to what drivers would want to do. But yeah, for me, that's the, you know, all guns blazing for 30 minutes in a Porsche. For me is that's
the one.
I mean, it sounds good to me. Like,
it does sound amazing.
Yeah.
If you could pick, pick a circuit, any circuit in the world, you're talking about it, or if you go into Europe, which would be the one that really stands out, going, that's the one I really want to do that I haven't done, or like.
Or honestly, I think I've been fortunate enough for British GT to drive Spa. Yeah. And I think Spa is the best circuit. So I would say Spa, and I mean, I think that, the Super Cup do support the F1 at Spa. But yeah, I'd say Spa. I think I haven't been there for 3 years, so I think if I were to go back there, it'd be like, yeah, this is the best circuit.
A lot of people say Spa.
A lot of people say Spa.
Yeah. I think Eau Rouge just makes Spa so much better.
It's like that one bit, isn't it? Like, it's a great track, obviously, but that one bit just stands out. You stand at the bottom of it. And,
so I think for me, Spa would be the one. I don't think there's really anything else that would come to mind, really. Spa.
Spa's the one.
Spa. Yeah.
Okay.
Spa.
So in terms of racing, I mean, why racing? Why racing? Why is it?
It's an addiction.
Yeah.
That's why. It's an absolute addiction. I think, you know, anyone who is, you know, committed to wanting to, you know, make a career out of it at my age, it's like it's your life, isn't it? You know, for me, it is my life now, and because it's a drug, isn't it? When you're not racing, you want to be racing. When you are racing, it's amazing, and you know, you never switch off from motorsport. So for me, that's why, because it's just a passion, and it's something that you know, I found when I was like that age of kind of 11, 12. And, you know, since then it's like there's no plan B. That's what you want to that's what you want to do, and so for me it's just you know, never switched off from it, which sometimes is a bad thing. You know, I even went to the motorsport college, so I even did education at the Motorsport UK course, which obviously was amazing, and I loved doing it. And the reason why I did it is because, you know, it's why not make my schooling, you know, to do with racing as well. But it's just you know, never switched off from it, really. So that's the bit which I love about it, really.
It's the one thing that I did that, you know, you try and say I played football or whatever, but you could still sort of like think of other things. Where you get in a race car, you put your helmet on, and you get out on track. It's like nothing else is around. Like you're so focused, like pin focused. Like I can't think of anything else that would compare with it. And you come out, like you say, it is an addiction to that as well. Like you just go, right, this is all I'm doing right now. All I'm doing.
Exactly.
Mega.
I think we've seen, so we've been fortunate to be around a lot of racing drivers.
Yeah.
So there comes, I think, a time where we've seen the other side of motorsport that, look, it can be a really frustrating weekend as well. There's a lot of money involved, a lot of commitment, a lot of travelling, all that sort of stuff. With a lot of, you know, and you've got to have that passion for it.
Yeah.
Does it come to a point where the money, the stress, I mean, you might not be there, you're obviously 19, and quite fresh with it, but I mean, do you think as well, having what you've seen and what we've seen, is there a point where that, because with any addiction, there's a downside, right?
Yeah.
There's a downside with any, like, it can be the most frustrating thing. You hate it sometimes, and then you actually want to pick up the love for it. So it's a real sort of hard one, isn't it? I get the impression motorsport, because it does cost so much, because there is quite a lot of pressure. Because let's face it, you just mentioned how important quality is in Porsche. If quality goes wrong, you know what I mean, that's a long old weekend. You know what I mean? And we've seen people have seasons that are very, very long seasons. So how important is it that, do you know people that, there's a couple of questions here, do you know people that have had that same passion as you, that have actually, I'm done with motorsport, and they've gone with it? And also how important it is that you just need to love it. It can't be a job.
Yeah.
Is that right? It can't.
I mean, I think now, from where I'm, older, and from where I fully am aware of the kind of whole, for the last, 3 years or so. I think anything since coming out of junior racing, it's like, I'm so super aware, and all of my friends, it's like we're all in a similar position of the money is just it gets to the point where motorsport's only getting more expensive now.
Right.
So it is kind of coming to the point of where I'm, especially after the weekend, for example, what I had at Thruxton, I've got to try and stay focused, but then it's like, I'm speaking to my dad, and it's like, this is what's happened, and then it's like, wow, like, if we want to, at the end of the day, I'm at such a high level now. The only way I can keep progressing is if you spend more money. That's how it works, really, isn't it? It's unless you kind of not downgrade, I guess, but at the level I am now, which is kind of the addiction part of it, is I'm in an amazing championship like Carrera Cup, and if you actually want to carry on doing things like this, it's only going to get more expensive. And so I think when I was younger, you're a lot more naive to it, and where in Ginesta Juniors you're doing three bonnets a weekend, and it's just like, there's another bonnet. But now it's like you're so much more conscious of it, and that's the tricky part, because it's like I said, it's a risk for reward, isn't it? Because it's you're so conscious of the consequences of what this could mean for next year and whatever. But you have to, like I said, I think as a driver, if you're wanting to do it, you have to just have people who are confident that you can do a good job, and also make sure you don't mess up too many times.
No, that's it. I mean, how much of you as a racing driver is thinking, if I put my car in there, that means I could very much make contact if that driver turns in, and therefore that ruins my race, that puts pressure on me for the next round, it puts financial pressure on my sponsors, my family, everything like that. How much is that going through your head? Or once them lights are out, sorry, I mentioned the lights again, once them lights are out, are you just like, I'm a racing driver now, I'm going to go for it. If there's a gap, I'm going to fill it.
I think when you're in the moment, I mean, when you're in the moment of racing, you're so adrenaline fueled. I think everything goes out the window. Okay. I think there's never, as much as it's kind of I've had incidents where, I've made, silly mistakes, and so you now know, you build up your artillery of, what you think is a right thing to do and what's not a right thing to do. But I think when you're racing, it's just I think it's all just forgotten, really, isn't it? And then you think about it after, either if it's gone well or not.
I think that's that potential of, like, before a race, even getting yourself in a bit of a hole if you overthink it as well. I think you have to,
haven't you? If you want to, for someone like me, if you're wanting to make a thing out of this, and it's the way it is, it's unfortunate, the risk of reward, but you have to just do what you think is best in the moment, because there's a chance that it could pull off and you win the race.
I think in that race, for example, you see a gap on the inside, and if you don't go for it, the potential is actually you brake early, someone hits you up the arse, and you've got a similar situation, right? Like, you still got damage, huge amount of damage. So I think you can, off track, round a race weekend, you could potentially get yourself in a bit of a rut if you do worry about it, and it can become a massive stressor for people. I've spent enough time in the motorsport paddock, as we all have, and 90% of conversations are about budgets and sponsors and everything, right? That's what runs motorsport. Hence where Merrill Motorsport came from, basically. Try and help with it, but at the same time, it isn't easy. The world's in a place where people are trying to hold on to their cash a bit more.
Yeah.
So it makes it even tougher for drivers to get that back in. But then it's making sure that your sponsors are your number one, right? Like that's everything.
I'm just trying to get an idea of people that want to make themselves professional sportsmen, right? The dream is you get paid for doing something you absolutely love and doing a sport, but you're ultimately there to win. Yeah. And there was an article sort of read the other day where footballers and rugby players, even athletes like athletics, that are doing the Olympics, World Championships, once they start to get money elsewhere via sponsors and clothing deals and all that sort of stuff away from, they've got enough money, then it becomes a job. And I'm wondering how it is your job. It's going to be your job, hopefully, and hopefully you're going to be well paid to drive cars as fast as you possibly can. Yeah. However, there will be certain people that are playing the top level of sport, be like, okay, I'll do this job now for the next so many years, I'll collect their money and I'll retire. But then, those people that think like that, are they thinking about winning as much, or are they thinking about because this is it, we do a job and we're lucky enough to own our own companies, right? So if we don't have passion for it, our companies don't run. Because we pay people to do a job for us, right? And we want them to share the same passion, but not everyone's going to. Some people are going to be like, I'm here to pick up my money, go down the pub and have my beers, or do whatever, right? We have got to be the ones with passion. Once you lose that passion, I've always heard people go, quit, do something else.
So you're saying, for example, like as a driver, like the
once
passion's there until you actually
once you start to realise, if this is how I earn my money, do you think there's some people out there, this is how I earn my money, so therefore they're not really fussed about the winning part. The winning part's there, but then I don't know, that
I reckon there's a bit of crossover in it, because you're still doing the racing side, but then everything off track, especially with sponsors, theoretically you're working for them. They're paying to be on the car, they're paying for everything, but then within the a package you put together for somebody, it could be being there for a day of content and do it, and that side of it is theoretically, the way you look at it, is you're working for them, so it is a job, but it's allowing you to do your job's allowing you to do your hobby.
So the moment that passion goes, say for example, say for you, like, you know what, I've had a long old season, I've had a few long old seasons, I've had that, I've had this, I'm travelling here, I'm travelling there, maybe I've got circumstances, I've got a different I've got a girlfriend now, I've got this, that, whatever, and you're thinking, but this is how I earn my money, I'll just go along and do a bit of racing, and I go, is that the time where teams, like, and you're looking at it like, okay, your dream is just like a job now, the passion's gone, should you quit and go do something else, or do you think, no, this is how he's earned his money, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny one, really. I mean, like I said, I think it depends on the scenario, really, because if you're a driver who is getting paid, getting money for themselves through sponsorship, then it's like, I guess that could be viewed a lot more as a job, because it's like, I want to race, but also this is how I earn my money.
This is how I earn,
I have to do this, because if I decide to stop racing now, then I don't know what I'm going to do, for some people's cases. So I think for some it would be, definitely like a job, in terms of they might lose a bit of that passion because you're so focused on actually trying to get on the grid in the first place to then earn the money. I don't know, it's all just kind of comes in the same thing. But then also on the other flip side, if let's say you're a driver who is being fortunate enough to be paid by a manufacturer, if you look at all the factory drivers, since up to that point, they would have won absolutely loads, because otherwise they wouldn't have been in that scenario. And so then once they're there and they're getting paid, good money, they may, the other kind of view of it is they can sit back and relax, because it's kind of like I'm a proven racing driver. I've won loads. I don't really care now. Yeah,
it's like it was like players that sit on the bench.
Yeah,
for the
just
like,
raking in the weekly cash.
Do you want to go play for a first team somewhere, or do you want to sit on the bench? And I've got respect for both, because because like I say, that person who's paid their dues and got to the top. Yeah. And if they have a little dip, but there's a lot of people that are at the top of their game. Like, for example, let's use Lewis Hamilton as the example. Yeah. I mean, some people still call him the GOAT, right? The greatest of all time. And he's got stats to back that up. However, at the moment, it's due to a number of different circumstances, his car and all that sort of stuff, his career is, is maybe on the
But
downward.
I do just think motorsport though, even though I say, for some drivers it could just be because they've gotten to the top now and they're, kind of raking it in. I think for a lot of drivers though, because it is such a adrenaline addiction, I think a lot of them do equally love it.
Yeah.
It's the age of when they were, a 30-year-old
No,
factory
yeah,
driver.
no,
They
I
love it
agree.
equally as when
So
they were
it's
my
for the
age.
love of it.
So, and that's when it's the dream, isn't
And
it?
it's that love of winning.
Yeah,
Of actually, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the racing. Motorsport's a tough one when it comes to that question. Actually, I was just thinking about it. I was like I raced last year, but I've got my full-time job here. I still had to get sponsors.
Yeah.
So I don't see. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'd see it as a job
No.
at all.
You can't do, can you? Because
No.
otherwise...
It's really tough one because you're doing something you love. You want in a race. Like, no one's forcing you. Okay, it's a job if you're forced to race. There you go. But who's forced to race?
No one, no.
Yeah,
You're not forced to race.
exactly.
No.
You're super quick. Yeah, but I don't want to do it. Well, you're doing it. I'm still paying you to do it. Like, that's been forced to race. That becomes a job that you don't like. No one's telling you to go and, at the end of the day, risk your health because it's dangerous to get out there at a race weekend.
That's the reason why you want to try and race every year and try and build as much sponsorship up as possible, because it's like the feeling of winning. That's literally it's the only reason why for me, that's the only reason why I do it, as much as driving the car. I mean, I'd say nowadays I taken a bit for granted this absolute piece of kit I'm driving, because it's like all I'm actually thinking about is I'm just wanting to try and actually just win in the car, not actually taking what I'm actually doing. It's like once you get to the race weekend, it's literally it's the race weekend becomes like I said, it is the job. It's like you have one job in hand, and I mean arguably the race weekend is when you you think about, it's just tunnel vision, isn't it? When you're at a race weekend, it's like you don't think about anything else. And for some drivers, it's, I want to race and build sponsorship to race because I love driving these cars. But I think if you're in a position where I'm in, it's like you need to do it because you love winning and you love that feeling. And that's exactly the reason why you think about winning, you manifest winning. That's all. It's all about. Winning.
There's a funny thing. I was chatting to someone recently. Most drivers, and I guess it's the same for most sports, but will do more obviously losing than they will winning. Like, they will always going to lose. When one person can stand on that top step. And let's face it, in a lot of sports, there are people that dominate, right? So that winning feeling in a Porsche Carrera Cup GB car or whatever, explain to me what it means. So I always imagine it like, you want to race, but we've seen people like Ronan when he won a race, how elated he was in his whole family. All these people that we've seen win races, and you kind of look at it and you be like, oh yeah, I've actually it's dawned on me, like, spend the majority of the time losing. And then when you win that race, you're like, it's only one race. Explain what that feeling is like when you win a race. Is it a validation, like, I can do this, and is it like, I've chosen right, and I want that feeling again?
I think for me this year, if you're racing in a championship, because like I said, for me, Carrera Cup has always been the kind of, in the UK, that's been the pinnacle for me.
Okay.
So I've got 5 weekends now where I'm going to try and win a race, and for me, Carrera Cup, because it is the touring cars for other people, that's like, if I can get on a podium and win some trophies this year, then that's an amazing feeling. And arguably, like I said, I haven't gotten that feeling yet, but I raced in the Sprint Challenge last year and obviously won races and won the championship. And I think back then I definitely didn't when I won the championship and crossed the line, should have definitely just taken it in way more, because at the end of the day, I'm literally doing all of this to have the feeling of winning. But when you're actually in the moment and you win, you actually need to actually feel like, you've literally done all of this. You've done all of this for this feeling.
A lot of people say that.
And you've just done that feeling. You've just done it, and you need to, it's quite funny. When I won it last year, I got on the roof, right? Gave it the big ones, and it's like, I actually didn't do that because that was my natural thing to do. I did that because I was like, this is gonna look cool. And it's like, it's gonna, and I just, I deserve it because I've, won the championship, whatever. But for me, it was kind of just the in lap and everything. It was just you just need to take it in.
Yeah.
And when you're getting podiums and wins, it's for sure in the moment. You're always thinking of like you could have, even if you won the race, you could have done better. Because if you win the race by 3 seconds, it's like, oh, I made a mistake. It could have been 5 seconds. Like that would have been better.
Yeah.
But that's what also makes you a racing driver as well. Like that's that.
But for me, I'd say I don't regret it. But when I was fortunate enough to win it, I should have definitely have just kind of just take it in more because I didn't. I was just kind of just going through the motions of the in lap and got on the roof and celebrated. But it was just should have just just taken it in more. And then on to the next season. You know? So I think
for me, Hulkenberg was doing that as well.
Exactly. Well, yeah.
Well, this is what we're saying.
Different, is it? Because he's been doing it for so long, and finally, like I said, like in something like Carrera Cup this year, and touch wood, I hopefully get a podium or two. But it's like I know I'm definitely going to try and make sure that for the rest of my career, it's like just take it in a bit more. You work so hard for it, and then you forget about it once it's actually happening.
So Hulkenberg's a great example. So he's been building towards that, and he made sure he enjoyed it. And the whole team did. But there's been some examples. So Johnny Wilkinson's always an example of the Redditch book when he won the World Cup.
Yeah.
He kicked that thing, the drop. He literally afterwards got the medal. And he said he took the medal off and was like, right, what's now?
What's next?
Should I just retire? Or what's next?
He got in a proper
literally
downward
spiral, as in like
I guess if you're going for a goal and that's the only thing, and then you get that goal, and then you're left with nothing.
He literally was struggling to what's next. When we spoke to Tom when he won the championship, and we were surprised when he said, I should have retired. Yeah. And we were like, what do you mean you should have retired? Are you regretting doing it now? And he's like, no, I've got it back now.
Yeah.
But at that point, he was like, let's call it a day there. Because he'd spent so many years trying to achieve that goal.
For it,
And then he'd achieved it. And like you say, I think that was that moment of taking it in. There was bits, and we've got photos and stuff of him taking it in at the end. But it was such a whirlwind. I don't think he could even remember talking to anyone.
No.
He even said, I don't even remember doing that interview with you at the end, that I put out. I went, do you not? He went, no. It was so.
It's a blur.
So I was like, well, how much did you enjoy it then? He said, that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did. He said he enjoyed the days after with Laura.
The days after when it's the best. Like the drive when it's all kind of the morning,
settled in.
The morning after and it's settled in, you just like you're doing nothing. It's like that's when it feels. That is when it felt the best for me. Or like an awards evening, for example. Yeah. That's when it's good because it's settled in and you're then receiving your prize for what your achievements. But definitely when you're in the moment, you get a podium or whatever. It's just win championship. It's I think for every driver, it's just always it feels better the days after and turns to actually when it happens because it's like, oh, it's done now and what's next kind of thing.
Yeah.
It is such a big thing because obviously you're racing for a team as well, and when something like that happens, everything is like a whirlwind. Everyone's so elated and everything, and it's when you're actually by yourself or just with your family or something like that, and you're going, we just did that.
Yeah. But I think for them watching, I think they have that elation and because it's it's the stress of like watching the last race of like, oh, who's going to win it, and so I think for them, I had family there. It's like, oh, it's amazing. They come over and they celebrate, but then like you're just definitely on a different wavelength to them in terms of what you're feeling, and you're the one who actually did it. So. But I think that's just the game of it, really. Yeah. Just you're so locked in and just you don't really sink it all in, really.
Obviously, we call this the Fingers in Pies podcast because we were talking about business as well. The same for you in business. You must have had goals. Your dad must have had goals. You've had certain goals, and we do as well. You know what I mean? But I always find that like we have a financial goal, whether it be a financial one, I want to earn this much more, I want to turn over this, I want to do this. And then when you achieve it, I've always been a person that always thinks like, okay, if I get to a certain thing, I'm going to be pretty happy. But that's only because my life is now full of kids and stuff. Yeah. I think if you asked me at 19, I'd have been like, I earned that much, I'm now on that much, and now on that much. Yeah. I've now mellowed to a degree where I'm like, I only just want enough to just do a couple of holidays and that sort of stuff. But I don't know, have you had that? Have you had that where you're thinking, because obviously we know your dad ran a business and then you were in it. And then do you set your own goals? Do you just want to achieve more? Or are you at a stage where you see family, you got other things to pay for? We're going to talk about Tilly's casting in a minute. Tell me about how that works in business.
In business, I think you set like a short, medium, long-term plan as such. So say it was like a 2, a 5, and a 10-year plan, but that never stops. So each year you got a 5-year, right? So as much as you look at that, and then in 5 years look back on that when you decided and went, are we there? Are we? What do we need to do to change it? If we're not, and if you absolutely smash it out the park, you go, okay, cool. But then what's the next? And I think that does relate as very much in racing, because if, for example, you go and win it next year, the next one's like, what next? What's next?
Yeah.
Right, defend it or go on something else. And so in business, you just the decision is you grow and or you go down a different route, you expand in different ways, and so there's lots of different things with business. But at the same time, I think it is looking back and going, right, okay, what's next? I think what's next is always and what do you want out of it? Like you said, you have different responsibilities at different parts of your life and things like that. But at the same time, I think it's always just figuring out what's next, what's the best path, because you don't know what's the right move. And you won't know until you do it. Like it's in business, especially maybe a bit more so than in motorsport, because in motorsport you can go, right, I want to do this because I want to do that. If you've got the ability to. There's that ladder. And then, like you say, when you start getting to the top of the ladder, that's when then decisions go, maybe we could go do this, maybe we could do this. And obviously you've got there because you're good and you're winning things. Suddenly you get people offering you subsidised drives and different things like that, and you go and go to Australia and race V8s, or do you know what I mean? Like the options are endless, but you just got to open the eyes to it and go, okay, this is quite cool. I need to sit down and think about this. Because I've done everything that I've thought about for the last 10 years and achieved it. What's next?
It's talk about it being an individual sport. Obviously, we know motorsport isn't an individual sport. It's a team. It's very much a team sport. A lot of people still think it is. It's not. I mean, tennis, they'll say, thanks to my team, whatever, but that's very much an individual sport. You're out there on your own, that's it. You've got to have the team, set up that car, set everyone, and do everything as such. But it still does, the buck stops with you. We were talking about a driver just before we came in here, all of a sudden being a little bit slower than he was last year. We're talking about him. We're not really talking about his team. Most of the time, casual fans. Obviously, we understand it a little bit better, I'd like to think, anyway. How does that weigh on you? And mental health being a huge thing. Like we were talking about another driver that we know, I'm not going to mention, that, we could visibly see that's taken a decline in his demeanour and stuff like that. So how important is that? Is your family always a bit worried about that? You're 19, you're young, and I'm not going to whack a question about mental health in front of you, but is there always that sort of concern that you have one of those seasons, which may happen at some point where you have very little success, like who's keeping an eye? I mean, do people go, oh, Seb's having a bit of a stinker, Seb's having a slower year, Seb's struggling this year, it's Seb, whereas we know it's a team. But you know what I mean? That must be quite hard, and you've got to take that on your shoulders for the next however long you want to do this job.
Yeah, I think an important part is, as well as if it would, because it is a massive team game. I think as much as it might look from the outside, if you're maybe doing a bad job or whatever, but it's a team thing. It's one of those things where those people are going to know the actual scenario, aren't they?
The people that matter.
The people that matter.
The people that matter are going to know. If you're actually doing bad, or things of because they're the ones who they're your supporters. At the end of the day, they're your supporters, so they're going to be like not biased, but they're going to be this actually happened. But from an outside point of view, it might be that a driver is simply just not doing as well as they have been.
Because you get the social media effect as well, don't you?
Yeah. So I think it is. I think it'll not negatively. I think it'll only get worse in terms of the kind of scrutiny the scrutiny people will be under. But no, I think for a lot of drivers, like I said, it's kind of as long as the people who matter know the scenario, and at the end of the day, if you're something that I'm in where it's super competitive and it's your career defining for these kind of next 2 years of if I want to go do well in motorsport onwards, it's like Carrera Cup is an amazing championship to do that, because if you can do well in a cup car, then you can go race anything and be pretty handy in it. And so I think it's one of those things where it's it is hard. I mean, in terms of motorsport, I'd say I'm quite my mental health in terms of how I deal with things has gotten a lot better. When I was younger, I was a lot more, people know if something didn't go well.
Right.
I mean, I'm an emotional person when it comes to motorsport,
Yeah.
which I don't think is a bad thing.
No.
And so, you know, last
Don't go
year,
wallop someone.
exactly, yeah, exactly. But you know, things happen, and and it can, you know, it's kind of how you then. I personally think it's completely fine to be in a bit of a rut, but then it's just you just need to then just try and get out of that as quick as possible, which I definitely have gotten better at. Because, for example, in like Ginetta Juniors or even like British GT, if something bad were to have happened, you'd then dwell on it, which then could affect your next race. But then for me personally, you know, like I said, I'm very emotional, where if something bad were to happen, then I would be in that moment sad and down, but then I make sure then by when the next race comes around, I'm like, you know,
that's 100%.
the best I've actually ever felt. You know, for me personally, after that crash at Thruxton, you know, going into this next one is actually the most positive I've felt, because you taking away the actual damage side of things and all of that, the negative stuff. You know, I have to focus on, you know, moving on, and actually for the remainder of the year, I'm the most confident I've ever been. Cause it's
This is the point
can
of
be
where you were on the grid, right? As well, like
Yeah,
yes, what
exactly.
happened, but you were on the front row of the
Exactly,
grid.
we're on the front row,
Like,
so
take the positive out of it. I think a lot of it matters comes down to like who you're surrounded by. Surround yourself by good people that will help you get out of that. You know, you've got myself. You can just call up. You know, we work
exactly.
together off track, and even that we can just sit down and just have a chat about it.
Exactly,
Like,
yeah.
and it is about, especially the most important thing, like you just said, is don't take it into that next race.
no,
Like,
exactly.
and I know it can be tough because, for example, you potentially have 2-3 hours between a race. It's very hard, especially if something's happened quite dramatically.
Yeah.
But that has to be the way.
Yeah, you have to just forget about it, because otherwise, and you know, like I said, it's only going to get from an outsider point of view, and like, you know, your mates, like all, you know, a lot of my, most of my friends now are in motorsport, and so it's like, you know, at the end of the day, we're all friends and stuff, but then we're all racing drivers. It's like, you know, we see, you know, you take the mick out of each other, don't you? And that's what it's, and like I said, it's only going to get worse because it's like social media, whatever. But I think at the end of the day, if you're a good racing driver and you can do well, because at the end of the day, people are slow, people are faster than others. It's, if you have stuff that goes bad, you know, you just need to, I mean, it sounds just boring, but you just have to just move on from it, because, you know, that's not defining, and the people know, you know, the people who know what really the scenario is of, you know, he's got the, you know, this person's got the potential to go do good things, and the chances are they go off and do the good things, don't they? So.
You can imagine, like with certain sports, I can imagine it be quite a lonely sort of place. However, you know, paddock and racing, they're all. There is like no other family like a racing fan. I've learned that over the last few years. As cheesy as it sounds, you know, stick together. Absolutely, they do, and it is that sense of team is there.
You say tennis. I bet tennis is a extremely low sport.
That's what I'm saying. A very lonely sport. There was a documentary that I just watched on Netflix, Breakpoint. I think it's called. It's really good. Gives you an insight. These people are literally out of a tournament, on a plane, next tournament.
Yeah,
on a
it's
plane,
non-stop,
next
isn't
tournament.
it? Like,
But they've got a very small team. So if family are busy, they've got them and their coach. And maybe like a fitness coach. But it's very
tricky.
small. There's not that huge team that it takes to set up a car, then the family, then the extended family. Then actually, to be fair, look, we saw the racing drivers that in the last Grand Prix all out to dinner together. Whilst there's a rivalry, there's definitely they've grown up together, racing against each other. I know the tennis players have, but there's so many, so it's very.
That's why you see so many tennis players going through coaches like anything, right?
Yeah.
Because
And they drop
you're living
off.
with them pretty much every day.
I think obviously you got to fly the flag for motorsport, but I think especially after, you know, like looking at it, and I tennis is what I used to do before racing. I think tennis is like so unbelievably hard, because it's like, you know, they're losing every match, because even though they might win the match, they're losing every, you know, you'll lose loads of points over a thing,
of course.
and then you just go on to the next one. You lose Wimbledon, you get knocked out in the first round, and then it's the next
and
one.
you got to travel to that. It's a grueling.
Wasn't that Federer's speech where?
Oh yeah, that's
he's
everywhere now.
I think I saw it on TikTok, but
Yeah.
he said like he's literally the GOAT, pretty much, as you could say. Tennis, right? Won everything.
Yeah.
And he had a 56% win rate or something.
Yeah.
So he'd
win. Yeah, you'll
you know,
lose.
you'll lose.
You will lose.
Yeah.
He didn't just go and win everything.
Yeah.
Like
He got, and also you got to realise, as a young tennis player, you're just going to lose. I mean, unless you're a freak like like these guys, like Nadal when he came through, and Alcaraz now. But you will lose lows
Yeah,
until you
yeah.
get to that point.
Yeah.
So Federer, who's like Mr. Calm, he had a real temper
Yeah.
first, and they were saying you've not got the temperament to win. He had to calm himself, and all of a sudden you just see this machine just winning.
Oh, it's insane.
Like,
I think
you know what I
that
mean?
it's definitely a. I'd say. I mean, I guess it's for any sport, but I do think it's a similar mindset of like once you for motorsport and tennis, the crossover is if you can get yourself in like a confident mindset, you can literally feel unstoppable. You know, you can feel like the boy,
can win anything.
and so you can win anything. Because even I think Djokovic is like you know every point I am from the outside it doesn't look like they're feeling pressure.
Yeah.
But then Djokovic is like I feel pressure every match.
Yeah.
But it's just about how you can then
Handle it.
handle it, and also if you lose a point, it's just the difference is the best of the tennis guys. It's like they just move on straight away.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same in racing because if you dwell on the last race, then it's going to affect your next one.
Even that, if say you got a 15-minute quali session, you could be like, right, I'm 5/10 up on my best so far, coming to the last corner, mess it up.
Yeah.
And you're then crossing the line, start another one. You can't take that, what's just happened there, into that next lap, because then turn one, you'll mess it up.
Yeah.
So it's just going, right, next.
Yeah. And that's I'm guessing that's consistency in sport is everything, right? But I mean, I remember it's funny you say Djokovic. Djokovic was an interview of him a few years ago. He said he was at a stage of his career where he's actually not the best player on the tour anymore. Like Alcaraz and Sinner and these other people come out. He said, I'm not the best player on the tour, but I'll win more often than not because they're feeling the pressure more than I am when they're playing me. So when they're playing, he's getting to that stage where he's almost got a little wry smile. So I've been there, I've done this.
Yeah.
So
I know what you're feeling.
You're going to mess up way more than me. I'm just going to be consistent as ever. You're better than me.
He's a
You
amazing
should be,
robot, isn't he?
And that's the thing. When you're going up against a road, it must be like drivers. Like for example, quali's a great example, especially in touring cars, your Porsches. You know, where there's such little time in it. You get to that Q3 or whatever it is, the latest one, the touring cars. It's become a bit of a thing for the experienced guys. You can tell because they're like, okay, we'll see. You've been really quick in FP1. You've been really quick in FP2. We'll wait to see Q3. When you've got a 5-minute window to put a lap in, especially to cross the front wheel drive car. There's going to be little mistakes that you make that these guys might not make, even though you're probably just as quick as them.
You see it in the races. There'll be arguably someone who is faster than another person, but you're more threatened by the person who's actually slower because I mean, I personally think it's quite easy to kind of seek out who can deal with pressure better than others. Right. As I'm saying, I just think personally, you see it from if they just make mistakes where I think basically drivers have an opinion about every driver. Basically, a driver I have an opinion about everybody, and they have an opinion about me, and so it's this person could be faster than that person, but if they're both behind me, I'm more scared of not scared, but you feel more pressured by the person who isn't gonna make the mistake. And because it's not all about who's the fastest, is it? It's just not all about who's the fastest, and even if someone's ahead of you, it's like they're fast. They could be faster than you, but then they could make a mistake. It's about pressuring them, and
has there ever been a driver?
It's a mind game.
Has there ever been a driver that springs to mind, whether in what you're doing now, what you're doing before, that if you saw them either behind you in your mirrors or you're coming up behind them, you're thinking, what a pain in the arse this person is. Is there anyone that springs to mind? Either they're going to be on me or they won't let me pass.
I think I'm about to get someone's ego right.
Go on, let's do it.
I would say, I think even though it was quite a long time ago, my second year of the Ginetta Junior Championship, you actually see the names in it and what they've, a lot of them have gone on to do, and it was super, super competitive. So I'd say at the time, and especially now, if let's say because people evolve, I say Robert De Haan.
Oh, okay.
So obviously he's leading Super Cup now.
Robert De Haan.
So that
man is alone. Robert De Haan. I love Robert De Haan.
So I think someone like him, from where he just he took no prisoners back then. It's like he like I said, it was back then. It's like I said, now if you see someone like them in the mirrors where they're basically racing in the same car you're in, but they're leading the the F1 of the version, if that makes sense. You know, he's leading Super Cup. It's like, you know, he's very good because you see someone like them and you just know that they're gonna send it and not care. Someone like him, they have a mindset of where it's just like just don't care and send
100%.
And chances are they get away with it because they know what they're doing. So yeah, I'd say maybe someone like
Robert,
him, because from what he's gone on to do, then he's very good, and I know he can get in people's heads.
I reckon that's a great shout, by the way. I reckon if I was a racing driver, if there's anyone I don't want to see in my wing mirrors, it's Robert De Haan.
Why is your reasoning?
Because we follow Robert De Haan through their sponsor, Octane, and Octane went from Harry to Robert.
Yeah.
And Robert was just quickly known, I'm sure he won't mind me saying, as, okay, he's super fast and smashing things up, like winning things and everything like that. But he's one of those that he does not care. He will treat it like it's his first car. He will treat it like he's karting down at Daytona with a Porsche. Like, he will just be like, out of my way, I'm coming to
and it's working, isn't it? Because he's
a
leading
headline
it.
maker as well.
And you can imagine Jeanette Juniors. I think that was his first year of car racing, from where you could still everyone could be as good as each other in terms of the racing, but exactly, even back then it's like he's coming through. He's not looking back. Like someone like that.
He's not looking behind him.
They're never looking behind. They're always looking ahead, and sometimes it goes wrong. But then a lot of the time it can go well, and they're the drivers who make it go. Who do very well.
Will is a very dry character off out there.
He's funny. He's a funny guy. I haven't spoken to him for years, but he's a funny guy.
Funny chap. Yeah. Amazing. Right. Okay. We're gonna play a little game. How long have we been going, brother? Oh, Jesus, we're going to wrap it up. Right, I've got a game for you. Right, okay. F1, you like F1?
I do.
Right,
I enjoy
good.
F1.
I know you like F1, Tommy.
Yep.
Right, okay. Stay quiet, because obviously there's some question marks over him this year. Max Verstappen.
Okay.
Right? Stay quiet until you hear a better Formula One driver than Max Verstappen.
Okay.
Okay?
All time, or this year?
It might be.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see what names come out. Okay, stay quiet until you see a better one. Okay, Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris. George Russell. Felipe Massa. Okay. Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc. Fernando Alonso. Lewis Hamilton. Juan Manuel Fangio. Alain Prost. Niki Lauda. Ayrton Senna.
Yeah.
We've got one. Ayrton Senna, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Schumacher.
I think Max is the best.
I was going to say, I reckon you're going to get through this entire list.
Really? No, that was the last one.
I think so. I think the thing is, everyone always says, so like obviously Senna's the debate, but there's like a recency bias where I actually never, like, I'm not saying you have, but like in terms of I've never witnessed Senna, so I don't actually know.
No, yeah.
So even though I know he was very good, it's like you see Max and you see even Schumacher, because even though Schumacher's won, Lewis is like technically the GOAT in terms of statistics, but I just think if you put, my argument is if they're all in their prime,
right,
and someone said, oh, go put one of them in a random car, who would you choose? I choose Max, because I think he's just the most naturally talented.
Max has gone up in my estimations this year, not the World Championships, actually bringing a bit of a dog of a car to where he has. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think that car should be anywhere near the front. Definitely not making poles and winning races. Okay, yes, it's probably been built for him, etc. But at the same time, like it doesn't look like that's easy to drive.
Yeah, it's tricky. I'd love to see him in another car to compare. But I think from what I've seen and from the people who I, because even Schumacher was like before when I was born, or like, I think 2005 was when. So for me, I personally think the GOATs of my kind of generation when I've been alive are Max, Lewis, Vettel. I loved Vettel. I thought Vettel was so cool. But I'd put Vettel over Alonso as a thing.
Wow.
But yeah, I think Max is the best.
Okay.
Max is the best.
He's
He
gonna stay
might
quiet.
not be the GOAT, but I think he's like the best driver to be in a Formula One car ever.
I think it's really hard to, like you say, Fangio, for example. Like, it's so hard, especially going that far back because of obviously how they're driving and what they're driving.
Yeah.
But there's just certain things with Senna that you watch and you go, that's not normal.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Max, there's been certain things where
Yeah,
like a lap of Max and you go,
You
wow,
were
that's
very
never
close
happened. But
on making a noise at Piastri.
yeah, see, I
Like
think,
Piastri.
Oscar's very good. I
Now-
really like Oscar.
I think he's like the new Iceman for one.
Yeah.
Like mentally, we talk about mental strength. I think that's what's going to win in the championship this year.
Yeah, I think Oscar will win. I think Oscar will win this year.
Yeah.
I think he will. I
think-
think Lando's getting better though, isn't he? He's starting to win some races now, but
Yeah. He is.
I think Oscar will. Yeah, Oscar's really good.
I
Really,
just
really good.
think that. Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one, close one all the way through. There'll be ups and downs. There'll be issues. There's going to be another crash between them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But that test of nerve right till the end.
Yeah.
I just think Oscar's got it.
I think so. But I think Max does them both in terms of mentally. Unless it goes wrong and then he's the worst on the grid.
That's his downfall.
Yeah. So I guess,
But then Vettel did it as well, didn't he? Multi 21 and all that.
Yeah, it's true.
There we go.
Yeah.
That is another episode of Fingers and Pies. Thank you very much, Seb.
Thank you.
Good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
Thank you very much.
We will,
Cheers.
of course, be watching, and Mirror Motorsport
Bring on
Management
Croft.
will be watching.
Yep.
Yes.
Bring on Croft, indeed.
Should be good.
Cannot
Look forward to
wait for that. There we go. That is another episode done. We will look forward to episode 17. We don't know who it's going to be yet, but we've got some people ready to go. Thank you very much for listening, watching, or whatever you've done.
Fingers and Pies podcast brought to you by Melon Freight UK.